I'm very pleased to be joined here in Davos by Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the Chief Executive Officer of the world's largest port operator, DP World, and still with us, Philipp Hildebrand, the Chair, of course, at BlackRock. So thank you, Philipp, for sticking around. Mr. Hildebrand, thank you for joining us here on Bloomberg Surveillance. Are you optimistic or are you pessimistic? Have we reached peak globalization?
I am optimistic. I always felt that eventually the United States and China will come to an agreement. And I think the first step that was done is a very positive step. There will be many things after that, but in my belief that this one will, if this one is done, then it will be easy to do the rest of them. This gives stability to the market, gives visibility to our business, which is in global trade, transportation, exporters and importers, and two giants, once they agree to do business, I think this will give a good signal of prosperity, in my opinion.
What are you most optimistic about when you look at the world? I know you've spoken in the past about Latin America, about Africa. Is that where trade will increase?
Definitely. I am very bullish about Africa. Africa shows good signs of growth. Look at Egypt, for example, with good policies, with sound policies, there's growth. And that mirrored our expansion. We're expanding double the capacity of our port in Sokhna in Egypt. Rwanda received in 2019 $2.4 billion of FDI, a small country like Rwanda. We opened a dry port that will allow Rwanda to become a hub for cargo that will come from Dar es Salaam and Mombasa to the neighboring countries.
How worried are you that geopolitics and the Middle East was really at the forefront since January 2nd of this year, that actually these geopolitical concerns eclipse the trade wars?
It disturbs trade. It's not something permanent. It is something that happens and everybody gets excited, but people move on.
Do you think we've reached peak globalization?
You know, it looks that way at the moment. We have to be honest. I think that's the way it looks. On the other hand, if you look historically, we've never really seen in recent decades any kind of sustained retraction of globalization. The price of it would be very high, not least for some of the emerging countries, the emerging continent of Africa. I think it's very important that we remember that globalization is not just good for the biggest economies in the world, but also has been lifting millions of people out of poverty in the developing world. So the challenge is there. I think in the short term, this is good news. There is the question of fragmentation more longer term. Underneath these trade talks, as you know, there are deeper issues that are causing these problems between the US and China.
Talking about fragmentation, let's go to the UK. You put your plans on hold, given Brexit was looming. Are you restarting those plans, or for the moment are they still on hold?
No, we're starting them. The reason we put them on hold, it is out of our control. We want to expand the port, and no contractor would accept to take the tender. Nobody want to build. Nobody want to take a chance to give us a price on something he doesn't know what's going to cost him. Yeah. Now things look very positive, and it's back open.
So they look very positive, even if we don't really know what kind of trade relationship the UK will have with the EU?
I tell you, as long as they made a decision, that's the most important thing. You see, banks, people in our business need to see a definitive target. And once that is decided, in the past, the government were divided. Now they decided. And we can deal as businessmen or banks. We can deal with any situation as long as we know somebody have decided. This indecisiveness creates a lot of insecurity in the market, and it disturbs the market unnecessarily.
How much work are you doing with China as part of the Belt and Road Initiative, but also just in general? How much investments does China want?
Well, with us, we have 3 terminals in China, but not just China. I mean, this agreement gives, in my opinion, confidence to the traders who want to export and import. A trader who will import from China, knowing there could be a custom duty hike, will not import. And that means less cargo coming. Now, at least we see. And I tell you, I believe that it's not free trade. That's the issue. It's fair trade. Fair trade is very important. And that is why the United States is negotiating, because the United States is an open market for everybody to export to. Unfortunately, other markets are not. And they have to be a fair trade, a fair deal that gives a fair treatment to each other. I think that's very important, and that's what we hope to achieve.